Good evening, everyone. I'm Sejal. Welcome you all to today's webinar hosted by Indictrans. So, thank you for all taking time to join us for today's session on Go-Live Readiness Checklist for the successful ERPNext implementation. So, ERPNext Go-Live is often seen as a milestone, but in reality, it is a test of readiness. Many implementations face challenges not because the system is not working, it is incorrectly, but because the business process, data, and users are not fully prepared. In today's session, is focused on helping you to avoid exactly that. So now it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Manoj Kumar. He is a ERPNext functional expert. Manoj has supported multiple ERPNext implementation across industries and helped them to ensure smooth, structured, and stable go-live transmissions. Before we begin, a quick note, please keep yourself on mute during the session and feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We will address them during the Q&A at the end. So yes, thank you so much. Manoj, over to you.
Hey, hi Sejal. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Hi everyone, good evening. Hope you can hear me, right? Okay, all right. So yes, in the today's session that we are going to discuss the checklist that's maybe at the time of the go live we need to refer, right? So these are the points that we are going to discuss in today's session. So let's go and discuss in step by step. Okay. So first of all, why the go live readiness is matter? Okay. So it's like a checkpoint, right? That decide our implementation is going to success or the failure. So basically we you can say the splitted this part into the two separate phases. Okay. After the UAT sign off, we have the one we can say create a one phase where we can check the system stability based on their master data setup, and the second, that is after the cutoff date, that is on the day of the go live. So these are the basically two phases, okay, where the master data is going to verify in this phase and the opening balances that we are going to, you can say, check at the time of the go live. Okay. So why the readiness matter, right? So if we are going with the preparation, like what are the masters and what are the transaction is coming properly, then you can see the picture itself, like in the left hand side you can see there are the stock is mismatches showing, right? Because we have not done proper, you can say, the readiness for the go live, and might be after go live your stock balance is showing something different stock and your accounting showing is a different stock balance. The second thing is like the taxes and the statutory compliances. Maybe at the time of the UAT phase, we have not verified the transaction, whether that implicating in our proper GST report or not. So this is the second readiness that we need to ensure that. Third point is reduce the business disruption. If we did the proper UAT testing and followed the maybe the test cases, or you can say the business transactions we did at that moment, we cannot be able to see, like you can see in the left hand side there is a system down, like everyone is dead, and in the second picture you can see the business is working fine. Why? Because we did the testing properly, we have checked the system as per the requirement. So this kind of the readiness that we can prepare before going live. Then build the user confidence. So why it's a matter? Because it build the user confidence from the day one. If we ready, then definitely we can go ahead with the confidence. The next slide is regarding the system parallel. So it avoid the parallel runs, means if we have done the use cases properly, we done the testing properly, we have verified all the master proper way. So maybe we not like you can say, let's take an example, we are going live from the 1st of the April, right? So maybe if we done the testing everything properly, we have verified report, we have verified master, then we know not going to longer with the different, you can say the parallel system. Might be in the many cases that we have observed, like for the 5 to 6 months, even the client is using the old ERP, at the same time the ERPNext. Why? Because they have not done proper testing at the time of the UAT. Right. So as I discussed earlier, like these two readiness, you can say checklists, we have bifurcated into the two phases. The first phase is regarding the master data readiness. So into the item master, if you see here, I have highlighted few cases where these are the very, you can say, crucial point we need to identify at the time of the setting of the masters, because if we miss anything, then it is very difficult to, you can say, rearrange after going live. So make sure that like our the unit of measure, like the default UOM and default sales and default purchase UOM is set properly. After that, the valuation method, the correct valuation method selection is also the crucial point, where if we miss or we have not defined in a proper way, then again from moving average to FIFO or FIFO to moving average, this becomes a very challenging task because we already made the transaction. So before going live, this practice must be followed. In the same way, has batch number. We know that into the item master there is this checkbox for the batch number as well as the serial number. So if we know that, like for this item, we need to enable this batch number or the serial number checkbox, because as per our business requirement, we require those. So make sure that for this item, we have enabled this feature, because once we go live and we made some transaction, system will not allow us to do any kind of the transaction, or system will not allow you to enter their batch number or serial number. Why? Because we have not configured this kind of the settings. The next is like the HSN code and the their taxes. In the few cases, it's also found like the HSN code is not linked with the GST percentage. You can say the item tax templates. So make sure that this kind of the setting is done on the item master level. Next is the supplier and customer master. So in the like the billing currency, in the real case example, we have seen the multiples, you can say the project where the client have defined some kind of the billing currency. Let's take example, the client is like the export or import, and the currency is not defined previously, and now the requirement is like we wanted to do the transaction into their currency, like customer currency or the supplier currency. Now customer currency is the USD. So in that case, system will not allow like to make the transaction against the different currency. So before going live, we need to apply the filter on the like supplier group or the whatever parameter we have given or defined. We need to apply the filter and select the how much our you can say the customer or supplier comes under this category, and we need to set their GST category as well as the tax category properly. So these are the setup that must be defined on the supplier master level as well as the customer master, because it will also impact in our the GST reports, because this configuration also you can say if I am going to define the different categories, so the invoice will not come under that particular business type category into the GSTR report. Next master is regarding the chart of account. So before you can say the go live, this is the part where we need to take the or you can say the confirmation or finalization from the client side also, because the chart of account must be linked with the appropriate account. You know that like once we live and once we started the posting the entry, this particular accounts is hit and the accounting implications will start putting inside that particular item, into the accounts, right? So this is the regarding the proper master setup of the accounts. Then next is like clean inactive masters. This is the one more point where like I have seen the one example. at the time of the implementation, where you know that like we create the multiple warehouses, and at the time of go live we clean the system and we start the doing the transaction against the new you can say the warehouses. But one of the cases, like when we created this particular warehouses, at that moment we realized that no, this warehouses is not correct or not as per requirement. We'll create the new warehouses. So the new warehouse structure is defined. Okay, and these warehouses, like in the disabled state, you can see here I applied specifically filter for the disabled warehouse. So this disabled warehouse, at the time of the creation of the item, this disabled warehouses is already or you can say set into the item master. So now when the user is going to create the transaction like the purchase order, system will start showing the errors like this warehouse is disabled. So again, we need to go back and maybe need to change that warehouses. So this is also the one more checkpoint where need to clear the disabled warehouses or disabled item, disabled batches. So everyone, every masters that is disabled and now not longer with this ERP system. Okay. Next is like GST setting. So in the ERP there is one special, you can see the block type where the GST settings is configured. This needs to be like checked because on the GST portal we need to create the user and this details we need to put here. So at the same time, if you see here, there is one checkbox like API sandbox mode, right? So before going live, this checkbox must be true. Okay, once we go live, we can enable, we can remove the checkbox so that our e-invoicing and e-way bill will be started generating from the system. So this setting must be defined properly. One more point regarding the naming series. As you know, like as per the GST norms, the for the tax invoice, the 16s, you can see the digits are required to because more than that might be system is the GST will not allow us to create some kind of the transactions against that. So it is good to define the sales, you can say the any naming series and take the approval from the client. GST wise setup. So this is also one more checkpoint where we can you can say take all the GST applicable numbers and we can configure into the system. Now if I wanted to see my GST reports and any other report, I can come to the respective report and I can apply the particular GST and report GST and we can see the report based on that. Accounting period. Okay, so as like we are going live from the 1st of April 2026, so make sure that like we have closed the previous period, because sometimes it might happen due to the user mistake. User can be able to post the entries into the previous posting period. So there is again some kind of the mismatch might be happen. So that's why this is the also one more major point that we can. Okay. The next is like the ensure correct GST reporting. As far as concern is regarding the GST compliance report, make sure that if we are posting any sales invoice or any sales invoice, right? So at that time, which category that sales invoice is going, so that we need to check. Like if I posted one sales invoice, so make sure that that comes under the proper B2B invoices, or that where is that going, like as per the business type, whether that's going into B2C or B2C small, something like that. So this report needs to be ensured when we are doing this particular activity. Now, user readiness and training. So the role-based access and permission needs to be provided. We need to ensure that every user have the same, you can say the required permission is provided and he can be able to see the respective data only. The second thing is end user training completed, right? So make sure that the end user training is completed and user can be able to perform their business related transaction. Next is a UAT sign off. as we know, we have given the user training or system is working as per the expectation. Take the UAT sign up from the each department. This stage like ensure like from their point of view, like ensuring the everything is working fine. And for us, this is like the one kind of milestone where we get the confirmation from the client. Clear ownership and transaction. So in the many cases, sometimes in some businesses it might happen like in the many of the company, let's take a real-time example where the sales invoice is prepared by the dispatch team. Okay, so first we need to align the like what is the accounting impact happening over there, and we need to say to the customer like, no, maybe previously you did this transaction, but the real person to do this activity is this accounts department person. So that ownership and that transaction related clarity that needs to be given to the employee, and yes, that can be able to perform the action that needs to be identified. Then the SOP. So make sure that like the SOP is given and with the escalation matrix. This helps user to perform the activity based on the provided you can say the business related transactions. These are some points regarding to the technical and system readiness. Like in the single day, how many times system should take the backup? This configuration must be done into the system. The print format that needs to be tested, as in the multiple time it's observed like sometimes we give the we take the confirmation from the client also like, yes, this print format is coming correctly, but the multiple use case wise we need to test and we need to take the approval on those also. The next point is like the email notification workflow. This needs to be verified from the because every action may perform the different maybe send the email to the customer or supplier and for the internal purpose also. So these things must be you can say tested properly. And next point is like integration testing. Yes, maybe the WhatsApp integration or the SMS integration that well tested properly, because once we go live, system will start triggering the email messages and WhatsApp messages. And the performance testing. So the performance testing is regarding sometimes like system will take the more load. Basically, at the time of the UAT, the system might be working fine, but once we uploaded the opening balances and then might be system start we can say the load working slowly. So this kind of the testing might be done in this stage. Okay, now we are going moving ahead with the readiness phase 2. So in the phase 2 there are few things, that is when these things happen on the date go live date itself. So we need to very clearly define our cutoff date. So let's take an example, 35 March is my cutoff date, where we need to provide the template to the client. We need to educate them like how to fill those templates and with the correct posting time. This is a very, you can say the important point where sometimes it might happen like due to the wrong posting date, system will start showing the incorrect balances, right? So the correct posting date that needs to be captured while posting the opening balances. So opening stock, or we can say the opening balances, the same thing will apply for this document, because the correct posting date needs to be posted open purchase order and sales order. Not for the every business, but some business expect like they will provide the open purchase order and sales order. So at that time, this needs to be finalized and ready for the import. And once all these stages are like completed, we can show the trial balance into the system, and we can take the sign off on that. Like, yes, the trial balance is matching exactly. So go live date strategy. So let's take an example, like from the 1st of April, we are going to live, right? So freeze old system, like not entirely, but there is a, you can say, to identify whether the system is working properly or not. So we suggest like for at least 1 month, run the parallel system. Okay, so freeze the old system and start doing transaction and start doing the, or you can say the check the system is working properly and the balances are showing very correct. So maybe we need to take 1 month for this duration. Once we uploaded the opening balance, take the client confirmation. At this point we discussed, and yes, on that day, live support team must be available, because sometimes it might happen as per our expectation. Yes, we are going to do this transaction from the 12 p.m. but maybe due to some kind of the issue or something like that might become. So the live team must be available to support. And once we live daily review, you can say the needs to be captured or the stabilization. This is the period where we need to identify how the user is doing some kind of the transaction, whether they are facing some kind of the challenges or not. So that time the review needs to be taken. Okay, so the best practices for the smooth go live. One thing, the parallel go live, like I suggested, for the 1 month at least. Then the clear communication to the user, like whether from the, like they should know their responsibility, they should know on what document type they need to perform what activity. So that kind of the clarity you need to communicate with the client or user, maybe in the form of the recorded session, maybe in the form of the some kind of the documentation, but yes, that needs to be very clear. And management sign off, obviously once we go live, we can take the management sign off, so that it will get the confidence to both the party, like yes, we are working fine on this particular system. And yes, lastly, the continuous monitoring. Yes. Now closing this point with the, like, you know that like the ERPNext Live is not the event, right? It's one kind of the process. If we do the right preparation, we'll get the right operation, smooth operations. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Do you have any questions? Then we can go.
Just a moment, Manoj. So yes, thank you, Manoj, for such an insightful presentation. As we began with our Q&A session, I am sharing a feedback form regarding this session. So it will hardly take not more than 30 seconds. It will be great if you can fill it while we are moving ahead with our Q&A session. Thank you. So Manoj, you can start.
Yes, Timmy, do you have any question?
Yes, I have one question. Yeah, hi Manoj bhai. It was a really insightful session today, and just wanting to ask one thing, that how to ensure that the checklist we are preparing is foolproof while we go live. So would like to know something on that. Yeah.
So the checklist share like is a foolproof, because I have covered the all the point that needs to be captured before going live. So yes, this is the foolproof checklist. Regarding the procure to pay and order to cash cycle, might be the manufacturing cycle, or maybe the HRMS is not covered in this cycle.
So my question, to be specific, is so what points shall we consider generally? In a way, like see, you have covered that particular module. So for the rest of the modules, what should be the thought process? Means ERPNext standard. What should be the reference point for us to make that checklist foolproof? That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like to add something over here. Hello Gancham, very good evening.
Very good evening.
Apart from what everyone generally follows is the pointers which are more important for go live, and sometimes we miss the pointers which are not very relevant to go live, but on a day-to-day basis it is essential. Considering the opening balances and the stock is a very crucial point in terms of the checklist. But apart from there are some kind of a configuration that we have done over the implementation, and some new doc types and linkages that we have built. So including those points also is one more step. The next piece is again reconfiguring the roles and permissions and the module profiles. This is generally missed during the go live configuration, so it should be a practice that we configure all of these things or include them in our checklist also, so we do not miss any of these points.
Got it. Thanks for the answer, Karan.
So I guess no one have any more questions. If you have, you can mail us on which you have received the invitation of this webinar. You can mail us on, if you have some questions or inquiry after this session, you can mail us in person. We will give answer to your query over there. So with that, thank you Manoj for such a practical and insightful section. And thank you to all our participants for your time and engagement. We truly appreciate, and yes, for your active participation. If you found today's section useful, we would request you to kindly share the feedback. Your input help us to continuously improve and deliver more relevant sessions to the ERP community. The feedback will share via mail shortly. Once again, thank you for being the part of today's session. We're looking forward to connect with you in upcoming webinars. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sejal. Thank you, Manoj. Have a nice day.